on to our review of Midsommar.
Yeah.
We're very excited to talk about this.
Yes. We know this is like a super late review because this movie came out obviously like in the summer.
Yes.
And it's like, but this movie is just so powerful that it's like, you gotta talk about it.
We just watched the extended director's cut, which was, I feel
it's
like
still fresh.
This is fresh, and we can talk about it now.
Yeah, and this last time was your second time seeing it, and it was my third time seeing it because we love this movie.
Yeah. So before we jump in, we haven't done a movie review in a long time, so you might be new here. My name is Iman.
And I'm Abby.
And so we're just gonna jump in. Sorry if this is all over the place. We're gonna try to like keep it contained.
No,
but it's probably not going to.
But I mean, I guess they're used to that now with us. We're just kind of all over the place. So there's no thirsty men though in this. I mean,
yes, there is. Pele
can play.
He can.
Okay, so Midsommar actually is directed by Ari Aster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep, and he did Hereditary, which was another great film that I enjoyed.
I have not seen it.
You have not seen it.
And we're going to get into that too.
Okay.
Because I don't like horror films. So this is someone who doesn't like scary movies.
Right.
Watching a horror
Well, you know
movie.
what? Let's just go into talking about this being a horror film.
Okay.
Since we're there.
Yeah. There obviously is, it's a real life horror.
Yes.
Because it's so real.
Yes.
I think when I think of a scary movie, I think like demons and ghosts. And
jump scares. Like chainsaws and blood, people being ripped apart.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But this was not that kind of movie.
This is what I was thinking, actually, because I've been thinking about this. If a different director filmed this movie, it would have been a horror. Like, just straight up, like, you know, you go to another country, you're going to get killed. Yeah. Like, we've seen The Ritual. We've seen other movies.
Like Hostel.
Right. Yeah. Like, movies where you go to another country and you know shit's about to go down. Yeah. But because this is Ari Aster, I feel like he has just a special way of making movies. Even though I haven't seen Hereditary, the way that I've heard how he also, the end of that movie, it's still like a beautiful... kind of like with the music choices and everything. Just first seeing how Midsommar ended, I could see how that could. They actually ended
very similar. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about like that, and spoiler alerts, we should have said that in the beginning. Oh well.
Yeah, we're spoiling the hell out of this.
What is the son's name in Hereditary? Gosh, I forgot his name. But like it's panning at him at the end, and in Midsommar is panning on her too, and it's where they've come to their completion, like they're there. Yeah. It's I didn't even think about that.
Well, because I've been reading about it and like listening to him talk, so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I was just thinking like if someone else took on this movie, it would have been scary and like not where, but I feel like he made it special. It's not just this horror. Like, oh, people are gonna die. Like you said, there's gonna be jump scares here. It's so real. It's so like you feel uncomfortable because you have probably went through it. Yeah. With relationships, with death, with a family member dying, whatever it is. It's like in your face, and so I really appreciate that because I don't like scary movies. Yeah. I can't handle it. So for this to be like now in my like top 10 movies, I think I'm gonna put it in the top 20.
Yeah. So like when the two elders committed suicide or sacrificed themselves, that's normal.
That scene in itself has there's two storylines going on.
Yeah.
In this. There's a horror aspect where they jump off and there's the couple who's like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my god. And then there's Dani's aspect where she walks into this like beautiful, serene, she feels like this is a weird, and we keep saying it's a fairy tale, but it is for her. For her, it's a fairy tale.
And for Christian, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this with soon. With character development and what we were talking about. Christian's final feelings. Yeah. Like this is a horror. This is a nightmare for him, but this is very much a fairy tale for her, and that also brings about their relationship and how there's that disconnect.
Yeah. So we'll jump back to the beginning.
Yes.
Just the first scene is the picture.
The picture.
When I first watched it, I didn't realize it showed the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, it has that fairy tale opening.
Yeah.
Music. So you're like, you're kind of like,
the harp. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like. When I went into it, did not know what to expect.
Right.
When I heard that, I was like, what? What am I in? What is this? And it just like, it's so cool to have like music do that to, change the mood.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt like that was super cool. Very smart on his
part.
Oh, yeah. On Ari's part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Going back to that panel that you're talking about, that is... I feel like that's a very Aster thing. That's like his style, is that he will leave details in the backgrounds, these Easter eggs that you have to look
like
for.
Right in your face.
Almost like that. Yeah. Exactly. And I didn't catch as many in Hereditary because I was just honestly scared. That movie scared me. But it's a good movie. Yeah. But like I was constantly just like, oh god, what's gonna happen next? Yeah. But like, and you could see that in this movie. Like there were those. Moments where it foreshadowed what was going to happen. It was that fairy tale panel, like the bear, him looking at the bear, and even when she was in her bed and it's the bear and the little
picture,
girl.
Yeah.
So that first panel.
Then we kind of like get to see this girl who off the bat we're like, okay, she's very anxious.
Yeah.
Something's going on, and we meet Christian, and he's definitely like an asshole. We don't know how much of an asshole yet. We just were like, okay, this guy seems like he doesn't care.
Well, this is a guy who is not in this relationship. No, just how that first conversation between them was just a smart move on Aster's part, because it just sets the tone of how these two interact. Yeah, like she's very in. Yeah, do you want to come over? And he's just like.
Yeah, well, that's a thing. Like when she's like, so are we still seeing each other tonight? She was nervous to ask. Yeah. Whereas if you're in a normal relationship, you're not supposed to feel nervous or anxious to ask your boyfriend or girlfriend to come. I'm coming over. Of course you're coming over. And so for that, then that's very realistic. That's something that I've been through, and having on her end being like anxious. Yeah. And that's not a good feeling, and his like pause and breath and did we talk?
I mean, we were just talking before we turned on the camera. Like this movie has, these elements that us as humans we don't want to ever address. Yeah. We never want to talk about it. We brush it under the rug, and and that's the other horrifying thing about this. It makes us look into ourselves, which is quite terrifying. Yeah. So and then we meet the friends. Christian's environment, who he surrounds himself with. We learn more about. We meet Pele. We meet Josh, and that's kind of where you get this. You get a little bit more sense of who Christian is, because Josh was hinting that Christian was a slacker. Yes. And that's like you kind of get the sense of who he is. Yeah. And so, but then it also introduces Pele
and Mark, and I know. But there's.
I just didn't even want to say.
I know.
He did a great job. Yeah. What's his name?
Will Poulter.
Yeah, he did a great job.
He was funny too. He did have that comedic relief, but he was so annoying.
Obnoxious.
So obnoxious. But he was like, "Why don't you break up with her?" Yeah. And this was a very important part of the movie where he was like, "I just don't know. I don't want to. What if I regret it?" Yeah. And so he's literally stringing her along in a 4-year relationship. It's just like, and this is again another realistic thing that happens.
Yes, he's a dick.
Ari Aster wrote this movie because of a breakup.
Oh, he did.
He did. That's what I found out. That's what he keeps saying in the interviews. So he sees himself in Dani.
Yeah. Okay.
But he also has seen himself in Christian.
Yeah, I think everyone has seen themselves in both of those. Yeah, not the whole thing, but parts.
But I think in this one he was more of related to Dani, so it's not about men or women, because he, I think, went through that, but it was the opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah. And so, which makes sense. I mean, there's really bad people out there. Yeah. And hurtful. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of comments and people who are like bashing and being like, this is a man-hating thing. But it's like there's a lot of people a lot of men who have been in abusive relationships, who have been in manipulative relationships or horrible ones, and I feel like anyone can relate to this, man or woman, if you've been in a similar situation. If you've had a normal relationship, you might understand it slightly, but if you haven't had a toxic, tumultuous relationship, you're not going to quite feel it as hard as other people are going to feel it. Yeah. So just my 2 cents on that.
Oh yeah. And honest, I guess this is, his response to a breakup, but for me, the whole relationship part of it, yes, that, in the beginning it sets the tone and it's throughout the movie, but like it's not even the main issue for this movie. This is Dani's struggle, trying to process grief and pain and her anxiety and coming from a dysfunctional world, and having her own metamorpho is more so the front runner of what this movie is about. And yes, but it does have the relationship, which is important.
That's another aspect.
Yeah, it's another aspect.
But the whole thing sets off with her parents dying, her sister dying, and her grief from that. Yeah. She also has a very bad relationship.
Yes, which is also just terrible.
And in this time, she needs support. The most support probably anyone would need ever. And she's pretty much an orphan. She became an orphan.
Oh yeah.
Overnight.
And Pele said this. It's like I was an orphan too. Yeah. And he said the difference between us is that when that happened to me, I immediately was surrounded. I was embraced immediately, and she was not. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So it's so okay. So it's so exciting. We might have drank the Kool-Aid. We won't see you guys. But you know what I mean? Like we're not like. We're looking at it in a different aspect of just our opinion. Like clearly, it's a cult.
It is a cult,
and what they do, their rituals are not. It is horror. It is scary. It is not good. It is not good. But I love this aspect of this fairy tale beauty behind it, right. and so Pele
takes them there.
I mean, and tells her. Too, I really want you to come. I'm excited for you to come.
But it's constantly bright.
Yeah.
And that just sets the tone when they are walking in the forest, the beautiful music you hear, and then the arch with the sun. Yeah. And her eyes are full of such wonder. Because she has never seen anything like that. And so that is Cinderella getting out of her carriage and staring at the castle. It's like...
Even like the people who live there, everyone's it's kind of funny. People are playing the flute, and it's so like what is this? It's so perfect, and just everyone's happy.
It's like the Shire.
Yeah, it is the
Shire gone wrong.
It is the Shire, and so people are. It's just, but like watching it the second time, people are kind of giggling. Because it has that funny aspect of what I did this. But when I first watched it by myself, I didn't giggle on it. I was just like very immersed. But when you're watching it with different people,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
because
I was loving it.
We're jumping all over the place. I know, but it's a good point because like I saw this movie by myself the first time. No one was in the theater, and I did not giggle in parts where other people were giggling, and it's because you're immersed. This is the first time seeing it. You're like, this is really beautiful. It's beautiful.
Cinematography is crazy.
It's great. Maybe it's just because we like the Shire so much. This was just like
maybe just the way it was filmed, the way it was shot. Even the close-ups. There's a lot of close-up shots. The acting, clearly we don't know if her name is
Florence Pugh. Pugh.
But my God, she did an amazing job, and I was watching her talk about it, and she said she's actually never experienced any type of grief at all. She's never been in a relationship like that. She's never had any loss so she was scared. How is she going to tap into this when she doesn't have any
reference?
And so for her to actually have tapped into anxiety, to tap into the loss of your family to being in a relationship, because
that
was
cry.
So
her
every
cry
time
was like
so real.
Like the second time I saw it, someone laughed when she was crying. I was like, no, that's a cry. That's you are not afraid. You're just going at it. So this is something from the director's cut that people did not get to see. And if you have the chance to watch the director's cut, do it, because there are key scenes in there which I am so shocked did not make it to the big screen.
He said the same thing. He actually said that the conversation that they end up having after the lake thing was where the middle point is the actual midpoint of the movie. So
did he not have the decision with that?
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what he said. I just remember him saying that it was like a weird. I don't know why they had to cut that out, but it was so crucial. It was crucial.
So crucial. Yeah. But anyway, so obviously Dani and Christian are having their tiff, and there is this scene where it's like almost like a switch in power kind of thing, and that's where she's kind of confronting him about it and using her her background knowledge of psychology. She's a psychology major, and that's where she gets confident, and she's getting there. Yeah, she's getting there, and I think at that point is like the big shift where she's now on top, and he is now dwindling and decaying. Yeah, she called him out. Yeah, 100%. And she was like, and we talked about it where she specifically said this is the devaluation phase, and then comes the discard. Yes, which only happens in a narcissistic relationship when you're with someone who has a narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah. So again, another thing that Ari did was like add this part of psychology to it, and like, so he could have been any type of guy. He could have been a douchebag, just who type of dude, but no, he definitely had traits of narcissism because, and we'll get into it with his friend group too. Yeah. But in that moment, it's very important. So it is kind of sad that was cut out from because the theatrical version. It just ties the movie together, honestly. But again, as it goes up for her, it goes down for him, and his world is shattering. One, friends are missing, but he doesn't even care at that point. He's so weird. Care. He's so weird.
That's the whole narcissistic part of him, where he's like, I'm gonna steal the thesis idea. I don't care.
Josh is not my friend. Oh my gosh, who's Josh? Did someone by that name come here? Is he like from China?
Mark's gone. Mark doesn't even care. Where's Mark? No one cares.
I don't care.
No one cares.
Okay. No one cares about Mark.
No
I
does.
do.
But really.
But as his friends disappear, he becomes more alone. Like, the rest of the time he's uncomfortable because this is his fall. This is and obviously with his death, that's the end of it. But even like with him and the bear, and the guy was saying, we cast you out. You will now think about your sins for like, you're damned to think about this. And I bet you he was thinking about it. I bet you he was, as he was burning alive. He's like,
it's just like a like it's just an interesting. Clearly, if you're a bad boyfriend, you don't need to get burned up.
Yeah, you don't need to be put in a bear and burned.
But it's like, if you've ever had a bad relationship, oh my god, it feels the way it feels is like, the thing is, so her grief part, so the grief that doesn't come out, she's every time she tries to cry about her parents, every time she hears anything about family, she runs and tries to, self-soothe, or actually not really. She ignores it. Just go away. So when the elders end up jumping from the cliff, that is her, in a very harsh way, having to see someone physically die in front of her. It's traumatic, it's scary, it's crazy, but it's almost like you need to get like slapped with this, and you need to this is real.
Face your fear.
Parents are dead. Your sister is gone. That's hard. It's unimaginable, but it's very interesting in how she had to see that. And
she got to talk about it too. And she processed it, which is something that she did not process with her parents. I mean, obviously it was a short amount of time. But like, that was, you're right, like that scene for her was her fear being put in her face, and like you have to now face it. You have to talk about it. Yeah, because she didn't want to talk before.
No, I have the Pele scene where Christian has forgotten her birthday. Oh. Another thing, another one on
we are going in depth on this. We got like that magnifying glass. We look at
I like how she like apologized to Pele, let's say, on his behalf, on Christian's behalf. No, it's my fault. I should have reminded him. Yeah. Like, what? No, what? No. And but I really love the scene where he comes in there and he sits down next to her as she's like freaking out, right? Because she's trying to pack up and leave. Yes. And he comes, he's like, no, don't leave. And he's like, no, sit down. And then it's the parallel to Dani talking to Christian and telling him to sit down, don't leave me. And you see this aspect of a relationship when you're in an argument like that, when you're in a traumatic moment like that, you're supposed to feel safe, and your partner is supposed to be there. Yeah. Like there, like with you, present. And she didn't run away. She actually sat there and they talked. And they had a good discussion, and he was, even though she didn't want to hear about his family dying, he's like, no, you need to understand this. I had support. You don't have support. He touched on the fact that her parents dying, but then he touched on the relationship. Yeah. Yes. The whole, do you feel held by him? And I remember when I watched that scene, oh my God, the first time I really like, I don't know, I felt like this weird thing in my whole body. Like I got like a shiver. And I just was like I don't know. It was very, very much needed. It was something I needed to hear in that moment. And so I feel like that it's something that a lot of people need to hear. Yeah. And don't realize either. Yeah. Do you feel held in your relationship? Whatever it may be, with your family, your partner, your friends. You're supposed to feel supported. Loved. Yeah. And that scene was just very realistic and beautiful. Very meaningful. Beautifully done.
Yeah. The scene I really enjoyed about this, or for this movie, was the dance. Yes. The make-queen dance. My favorite. Solely because, I mean, one, it's beautiful. These girls are married together. There's nothing dangerous about this. This is just I was worried at first. Yeah. At first I was like, is she about to be sacrificed for being the May Queen? Yeah. But no, it's love, it's fun, there's beautiful music. Yeah. Everyone in the crowd is doing everyone's happy. And this is the moment where it's just like Dani is getting that beautiful dress from her godmother, and she's becoming one in this culture. She's in their garb. Obviously she's high as hell, but like she's speaking their language, and it's just like this is a moment where she is now being brought into the family, and like they say it too. It's just like, oh, you were a sister, you are the family, yes, and like the picture where everyone's just surrounding her. It's just in the pastels and the flowers.
That whole thing.
Oh, that scene is just so beautiful. I'm sorry, I want to cry. It's just like, and it might be the girl in me. No, that's not true, because there are plenty of men that appreciate
it was beautiful.
This artistry. So it's like
it was, and it also showed her strength. It showed her actually accomplish something too, and like on her own. She did it. She became the Maid Queen, and also again she realizes Christian's not supporting her.
Because who's cheering for her? Everyone except him in the contrast. Him in the dark. No, it's not even
he was looking around.
Oh yeah, he was. He was specifically just like, what's going on? Yeah, not present, and that's just like he's casted out at that point from her life.
And then she does her thing. And this is my favorite scene too. From the dancing to when she wins, and like you said, everyone coming to her, and then her parents coming.
Yeah, her mom being there.
Dad too. I didn't see him. I think it was her mom or dad and mom, but I could be wrong. But for sure, mom. Yeah. For sure, mom. Yeah. And her touching her and like almost giving her away.
You are, yes. It was like a wedding. Yeah. It was like, go.
Yeah.
Even though, again, we know this is a cult.
Again. But that, right.
But still.
But that shows this is a good movie.
Yeah, it's like when you're justifying cults.
Like, you know what?
I'm like, I'm going.
And then Pele, of course, comes in for that beautiful kiss. That whole just scene, it's so beautiful. Yeah. Just everything. And then her flowers like moving because everyone's high. Right. Everyone's on,
But that in the transition where she is now the person in control. Yeah. Everyone is waiting. Yes. and so eager for her. And that's
and that's something that everyone deserves, is to feel like their voice is going to be heard and is important.
They matter.
And she finally did after a long time. Yeah. And with her sitting at the table, and that was the scene where we realized not only it is a very codependent relationship between her and Christian, but it's not just her depending on him. And it's him having a codependent relationship with her too.
Yes, absolutely.
He was all disoriented and just like where he was looking at her too, kind of trying to get her attention. And she never looked at him. And then so it was a very and especially because he didn't have his friends, like you were saying, he was alone. And at this point, all he has is her. And that's why he didn't break up with her for so long, because even though you could be a narcissist or just whatever. Yeah. Not a good person. You can still be with someone for years and years and show emotions. Like, remember this, and things like he would hold her hand. He would do
that
things.
Really sucked. That was such a shock.
So, anyways, about the other so he physically he would do things to her that would seem normal, but that was the whole contrast with Pele, and really hurt him holding her. Sit down. We're
talking.
Here.
Going off of that, because you made a great point. After we watched the movie at 12:30, we went outside and started talking about it. But you made a good point that during that scene at the table, when she has to go do her duties, can Christian come with me? And the Civ, she was like, no, this is you. Yeah. You can't rely on him anymore. You go do your thing. Yeah. And that was a very powerful moment as well.
It was. And I felt like it was her moment of breaking up. There was a moment of her walking away. And it's the hardest thing you can do. Yeah. Because when you love someone, you love someone. But when they're not treating you right, you have to walk away. You personally. No one's going to force you. Yeah, no. Your friends are like, hey, dude, her friend in the beginning, Amy, is like, that's not what a relationship is. Yeah. But you can't force your friends to not be with someone. You can only be there and to support them. And her breaking up with him at that point and then going into the beautiful carriage again.
I know.
Cinderella again.
There you go, girl.
And
the girls. I just want to be one of those girls.
Yeah, the sisterhood. Supporting her, physically supporting her. It's so, there's so many metaphors. There's so much beauty in this movie. So it's like, I just want to watch it again. Like, really.
Girl, I'm buying it.
Let's go.
But the beautiful sisterhood, the community, because again, it's like you see in all these different scenes too, where they are so immensely connected that they will mourn with you, they will cry with you, they will laugh with you. It's when the guy jumped off and he wasn't dead, everyone was in pain with him. When she was crying, the girls swarmed her and they became like a living breath. It was everyone together. And at the end, when their people are burning and they're crying with them and angry and showing this emotion. And
the scene where she sees Christian, after she's had this whole beautiful situation with herself, becoming the Maid Queen and all that, she sees him cheating. Yeah. And her running away to cry. And the scene with the girls holding her and crying with her is that I could not help but cry when I first watched it.
That was beautiful.
I wanted to weep. Like, it just did something. But there were a couple of other people in there, and I was trying to hold that back. But I was like, whoa. Because you don't see people crying that hard in movies. So it's just like, you can feel that hurt. there's so many people have been in situations like seeing someone that you love, like you've been in that experience, cheating on you is unimaginable. Yeah. How do you process it? How do you, like that's just it's crazy.
It's real.
And
it's very real.
Yeah. So for her to like let that out, let everything out, and not just because of Christian. That cry wasn't just Christian. That was everything she's been holding. And they cried for who knows how long. And she finally let it out. And they
embraced her.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Just that scene and that face, everyone's face. Oh my God.
Yeah. Good acting all around.
Yes. Did you notice that Pele was one of the people who lifted Christian into the bear? When you rewatch that, he grabs his. I don't know if it's important, but he's one of the people who. I don't know. It's just very interesting.
Well, I mean, but that also plays. It's just the community. Yeah. I mean, I even this time, watching Maya. Is it Maya or Mia?
Maya.
Maya a little bit more closely this third time. Here I was thinking, like, this girl is just trying to take Christian away from Dani. She's not malicious, but, more just like I'm going to get him kind of thing. But that wasn't even her at all. She was just like, she kind of, it's like, I know what I have to do kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I noticed it more because when they were doing the May Queen thing, she was just as happy as everyone. Yeah. She was there. She was in it. And you don't normally see that when you know that some girl's got a guy and then you're taking him away from him to get a baby. Like, it's a weird situation. So it's like the fact that she just had no malicious intent against Dani. It's just, I just need a baby. I'm supporting you. I love you just like everyone else. So
it's just a crazy, weird, disturbing, beautiful movie. It's a disturbing, wonderful fairy tale.
There you go.
I don't know how else to see it as. It's just it is that it is. So of course it's a horror. It is scary. He's being burnt alive.
Yeah.
People are
Simon got blood eeled.
Yeah,
Simon got blood eeled.
I know we were talking about
girl,
that.
When I saw it, okay, I'm so glad I was alone the first time because when I saw it, I'm like, blood eagle, and I just squealed.
We watched Vikings, but we're not happy that he got blood eagle.
Being blood eagle. No.
But oh my
God. We knew what it was because of Vikings.
We haven't talked about any of the deaths because I feel like the movie
is not about that.
Not about
it's not about that.
It's not the friends getting picked off one by one.
Yeah.
It's about Dani.
That's why we didn't get to see it.
Her own woman.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
accepting her grief, accepting. Just getting back on her feet and having now a family. I do want to say on a personal note, and not to get too personal. I don't know who's watching this still.
Spill the tea, Christine.
I'm very, very happy that Ari made this movie. I think a lot of people need to watch this. Yeah. And I needed it. I didn't know I needed it. Thankful I watched it the first time, and I'm very thankful I watched it the second time because I am going through, I was going through something similar, but thank God, not so long term. And I felt this weakness, and after I watched the movie again, I heard Pele's words, and we're like, you need to feel held. And I want to have, I think everyone deserves to have a relationship where you feel important and truly loved and cared about. Don't go back to that person who doesn't hold you. Yeah. It doesn't hold your heart. Yes. It's so important. Even though you feel weak, don't do it. You're worth more than that. And I want to give Ari Aster a hug. I just want
to buy him a beer.
I know.
Dude. Because I'm just going to put this out there. I know, also people were just like, well, we'll see how his next film. I think his next one.
It's like a comedy.
It's more comedy, which is fine too. But, honestly, I love his work. And I can watch, 10 or 20 of his movies if they're all surrounded by cults. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. They're all really, the way he crafts, the way he films, the way he casts, it's flawed.
Choices, and even how he ends the movie, the end credits, music, it's so...
The music choices in Hereditary are scary.
Fire Temple, the last song that comes on when they're burning and she's, crying and everyone's like crying. That song is so beautiful with the violin that comes up. But then it also has like this very eerie tone because you realize they just killed a bunch of people. Yeah. It's not supposed to. So it's very crazy. It's just, I love that, like, the contrast. Like, this is a fucked up movie.
Straight up people were skinned.
So beautiful at the same time. And her smiling at the end. It's just like, it's powerful. Yeah. It's awesome. They did amazing. Everyone did.
Florence, my hat's off to her. Like,
I'm like a fan. This is the first movie I've seen of her.
Me too.
So
and people
legit.
say that she's good in other stuff. So I'll be excited to check out more of her work. So
she's legit.
I'm gonna score this movie because for like what we were talking about before. For me, a high scoring movie is like one that I can watch over and over and over again and never get tired. And this is one of those movies. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10. It is. And I own that.
Yeah.
And I will.
Same here.
Yeah.
It is
10 out of 10?
Yeah. 10 out of 10. There is nothing. I can't sit there and pick out anything I did not like. Everything about this movie was beautiful. And like that whole watch, if I can watch it over. Yeah. That's a favorite. That means it's my favorite and I will watch it again and again. I'm excited for him and for his work and what he's going to do. And he's young. He's 31. He is,
I mean, guys, if horror movies or cult movies aren't really your thing, I totally get not wanting to see this. But if you are aspiring, like, director, writer, anything, this is a good anything by him is good, honestly, so far. So check it out. Yeah. I would say.
Absolutely. But I mean, I think we've said a lot.
I mean, we did. We've talked a lot. But
all right. Well, that's that. We're gonna go. This was really fun to talk about. It was a great experience watching the movie.
Yeah. And look out for more movie reviews. Yeah. I'm hoping we can get to them, but we would like to do The Joker, which comes out October 12th?
I don't know for sure.
I don't remember. October something. Yeah. And then maybe It. Yeah. We might do It Chapter 2. Yeah. So, look forward to maybe those as well.
Hopefully you guys watched. If you did watch it through, thank you. I want to hear what you guys have to say. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye. We'll see you later. Bye. Can't forget about your face now. Your style and your great town. There's clearly no debate now. You're sold in second base now.